Taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart using the Morales line indicator, Bitcoin broke into a bearish trend on the weekly. The most recent time this happened was back in July of 2024, where, as we can see, was just a sideways bearish fake out. The next level of support we may hit and bounce off of is around 67 to 70,000, and even further down in this $56,000 region. Yikes! Yes, however, welcome to crypto. This happens every cycle all the time since back in 2010, when Bitcoin was worth less than 1 cent. Here's an important thing we all need to constantly be aware of and keep in mind. Markets are a reflection of human emotion, and emotions globally are running rampant with all of these uncertainties in the macro environment. So let's break down what's been happening in a nutshell, what we should be prepared for, and why from a probabilistic standpoint, we should be bullish long-term despite the short-term turmoil we will likely experience. Hello, I'm Crypto Casey and welcome to another episode of Crypto This Week. Let's explore the latest global news stories affecting the markets, as well as the macro environment at large. Please be sure to check out our sponsors, GoBabyTrade, Uphold, and Crypto Wallets, Tangent and Ledger. If you're not using AI, especially in crypto, you're behind and leaving a lot of money on the table. Make passive income and profit from the volatility of the crypto markets with GoBabyTrade, an AI-driven robotic crypto trader. Watch a video review here and join us every Wednesday on the free weekly webinar to learn more. Store your money and manage crypto with Uphold, a Web3 platform that actually holds our money in crypto, doesn't lend it out, is the safest way to buy, sell, and trade digital assets, and is connected to 30 underlying exchanges so we get the best prices for crypto on the market. And make sure you own and use multiple cold storage hardware wallets. Tangent is super affordable, extremely easy to set up, only takes like 90 seconds, great for beginners. And Ledger Stacks and Flex wallets have extra security layers at the best discount on the market for our community. So scroll down and use links below to redeem all the special offers they have for us. All right, let's discuss current market conditions and the macro environment Bitcoin is operating within to get some perspective on what is going on with Bitcoin's price action. There are 5 types of war happening around the world right now: a technology war, a geopolitical influence war, a capital war, military wars, and trade wars. All of these tariffs being tossed around are part of the trade wars, and it's one of the main causes of major uncertainty plaguing the markets. So let's explore how Trump's tariff strategy could lead to a series of economic events that might ultimately boost assets like Bitcoin and crypto. The outcomes are complex and never guaranteed. However, here's how it could unfold. Trump taxing imports will hurt other countries' economies, especially those heavily reliant on US markets like China, Canada, and Mexico. This pressure might force them to negotiate better trade deals with the US. However, it will depend on how the global trade dynamics play out. When considering who has the most power in any negotiation, it's the person who is most patient and the person who can walk away from the deal altogether. Now, in considering which country can tolerate the most economic pain from tariffs and outlast everyone else, the US has a huge advantage when considering GDP and import-export activity between China, Canada, and Mexico. And the longer the tariffs remain in play, the more powerful and independent the US will become, as it bolsters domestic manufacturing and protects US industries, which would cause more future pain for other countries as their revenue stream would decrease over time. However, tariffs will increase the price of imported goods, and retaliatory tariffs would further exacerbate inflation. And although usually the Federal Reserve raises interest rates to cool inflation, in the midst of a trade war, economic slowdown ensues, which could trigger the Fed to lower interest rates instead to support economic growth and start stimulating the economy with money printing. Lower interest rates could also make US Treasuries more attractive. As we discussed in a previous video, all of these policies could weaken the dollar, which would make US exports cheaper and imports costlier, basically a Plaza Accord 2.0 scenario, with the ultimate goal being to depreciate the dollar to boost competitiveness. This would flood the global markets with liquidity, which is a perfect recipe for increasing demand for risk on assets like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, potentially triggering the bull run we've all been waiting for. So basically, Trump's tariff strategy could weaken other countries, increase US inflation, and prompt the Fed to lower interest rates if economic slowdown ensues, leading to a weaker dollar and stimulated economy via quantitative easing, aka money printing. This environment might favor risk-on assets like Bitcoin and crypto, but uncertainties around trade wars, Fed responses, and global markets make the outcome speculative at best. Great. So that's what could happen. Here's what's been happening just this week. A Cheeto, shaped like the Pokemon Charizard, just sold for $87,850 at auction, which is more than the price of Bitcoin at the time of this video. Now be honest with me, would you rather have one whole Bitcoin or a Cheeto shaped like Charizard? Let me know in the comments below. At any rate, as crypto investors and speculators, we're always coming across people who say Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are worthless. So let's break down the concept of subjective versus objective value, as well as the definition of markets. Subjective versus objective value. So I think we can pretty much all agree that the air we breathe and having access to drinking water are inherently important. Air to breathe and water to drink have objective value for the most part, meaning someone's belief, perception, or preferences don't really add or take away from the overall importance or value attributed to air and water. So subjective value is the idea that an item's value to a person is dependent on that person's beliefs, perceptions, or preferences. For example, let's say I have a round-trip airplane ticket to Iceland that costs $600 departing tomorrow and coming back a week from now. If you can't drop everything you have to go tomorrow, or if you don't have a passport, or if you're scared of flying, or if you have zero interest in going to Iceland, then the ticket is pretty much worthless to you. Now, assuming you can and want to hop on the plane to Iceland tomorrow, if the ticket was for a middle seat versus an aisle seat versus a window seat, that would probably have an effect on your perception of the ticket's value. Some people prefer aisle seats, while other people prefer window seats. And unless you're some weirdo that would literally sit anywhere on the plane and have zero feelings one way or another, even if it's a middle seat, the location of the seat adds another subjective layer to the value of the ticket. So breaking down the subjective value layers of the airplane ticket to Iceland tomorrow, you've got the mere fact that it's an airplane ticket, the airline, the destination, the dates of travel, and seat location. All of these factors make the airplane ticket an item with subjective value. Regardless of the $600 cost attributed to the ticket, everyone would place a different value on it due to the aforementioned factors. And even more obscure, in my opinion, an insane example of something with a lot of subjective value is the Cheeto Charizard. However, obviously, now we know that a market exists for this item with highly subjective value. So, what is a market? The definition of a market is twofold. One, a market is a place where people can physically go or digitally access to basically buy, sell, exchange, or trade goods and services. So a market can be a physical place like a grocery store, the mall, or a car dealership, or it can be a virtual environment like eBay, the Apple App Store, or even a cryptocurrency exchange like Coinbase or Kraken. And two, the term market can be used to describe the existence of people who have a desire to buy, sell, exchange, or trade a specific type of product or service. So this use of the term market is more abstract to describe, for example, the housing market. Believe it or not, there's a collection of people out there that wish to buy and sell houses. You can also be more specific like the Chicago housing market, or even more specifically, the Chicago condo market. People also use the term to ask if a market exists, which simply means, are there enough people out there who would want to buy, sell, exchange, or trade a particular good, service, information, or currency? For example, when creating a new good or service that doesn't currently exist, sometimes people perform market testing, which is just seeing if there are people that would want to buy the good or service, how many people there are, how much they're willing to spend, etc. Cool. So we've basically translated these deliberately complicated finance terms, subjective versus objective value markets, into concepts we were already comfortable and familiar with. That being, different people are willing to spend different amounts of money on all kinds of different things they want to buy. Now, here are some objective facts about Bitcoin that we need to keep in mind that will justify why, despite market turmoil, we should be bullish long-term and take advantage of the fear-driven global sell-off. Bitcoin investing can feel really great, really bad, and downright terrifying at times. The volatility is insane. It's not for the faint of heart. However, check it out. Bitcoin was the best performing asset last year in 2024 and the best performing asset over the last decade, outpacing other traditional assets by a considerable margin. Since inception back in 2011, cumulative gains for Bitcoin are more than 20 million %. That is 2,000,000% plus. During that same time period, the NASDAQ 100 and US large caps on the stock market returned 541% and 282%. So on an annualized scale, Bitcoin returned 230%, which is 10 times more than the second best performing asset class, the NASDAQ 100. Large US caps returned 14%, high yield bonds 5.4%, and gold 1.5%. Wild. So considering everything we just explored together, A possible course of action we can consider, depending on our unique financial situation, is to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, which we can start doing today. And the safest way to do it is with an Uphold account, a Web3 platform that provides us with a way safer, better option for buying and managing crypto than exchanges, as well as a way better, safer option for storing US dollars than banks. Because all of our assets are 100% there, not lent out against our will like banks and exchanges do. We get the best possible price on the market for Bitcoin and crypto because it's connected to over 30 underlying exchanges, which also gives us more liquidity when trading. And as we accumulate our Bitcoin to hold over the long term, the only surefire way to completely own, control, and secure it is with multiple hardware wallets. Tangent is super affordable, extremely easy to set up, only takes like 90 seconds, great for beginners. And Ledger Stacks and Flex wallets have extra security layers, and our community gets the best discounts on the market using the links below. And another newer interesting strategy I've been using over the past year now that has actually made me a lot more money than buying altcoins low to hopefully sell to someone else for a profit later is an AI-enhanced robotic crypto trader called GoBabyTrade. In my experience, it has performed like a set it and forget it trading product, generating passive income pretty much every day. And more recently, I discovered we can also use it to implement the best dollar cost averaging strategy for getting into Bitcoin positions or other cryptocurrencies we are interested in building larger, long-term positions in. We can cover this in another video if you're interested, let me know. Tons of y'all have absolutely been loving GoBabyTrade since we first explored together way back in August. So definitely take 1 hour out of your life to join us on the free weekly webinar every Wednesday to learn more. Awesome. If you would like to learn more about how GoBabyTrade works to diversify your crypto investment strategies, check out this video. If you would like to learn more about Uphold and how it is a way better, safer option than banks and exchanges to store our US dollars and manage crypto, check out this video. And to get an exclusive $1,000 discount off of a 3-year license for GoBabyTrade, click on the link on the screen. Like and subscribe for more. Be safe out there.